Wow. Hi. I want to talk to you about a local project that I'm part of. I want to tell you how you can become part of it and what we all can learn from it. But let me start with a personal story. I was born in West Berlin, not far from here, to parents who took me to the ocean every summer. I spent my summers on the water, and my mom called me a water rat, a Wasserratte, and I told her when I grow up, I'm going to live by the ocean. Turns out I'm fairly grown up now, and I don't live by the ocean. I live here in Berlin. How come? I live here because other things became more important. I started to enjoy doing things with other people in my free time, using free resources and free spaces available around me. And Berlin is a great city to do so. But it took me quite some time to realize that there is a large, unused free space in the heart of the city, and that's the water. It's a constantly changing surface of our canals, and the River Spree is a large, not privatized, but mostly inaccessible free space. Unless you own a yacht, or you go on those white, big tourist boats, you'll never be able to be on the water and use it. So one day I was daydreaming of being collectively able to claim that space, but I had no idea how. So I started to talk to others about my fascination of that huge potential in the city. I tried to get them excited about my idea of building a platform on it. I wanted to build a collective boat. And I had to talk to a lot of people to make them as fascinated by that idea, to quite literally get some of them on board. On a cold weekend in February 2015, I had invited a small group of 8 people around me to join and dream together about what we would do if we were able to use the water. What we did was simple and powerful. We locked us up in a room, turned on the heating, had some tea, and we sat in a circle. And we shared dreams, ideas, and visions. We had no clue what that would lead to and how the result would look like, because we didn't talk about swimming bodies, material, or statics. We just talked about dreams. And that felt like a hippie circle of dreamers sitting around. And sometimes it also felt like a strategic meeting of a bunch of nerds. But most of all, it felt really, really good. Because we started from my collective dream, or from my dream of a collective boat, but everybody added in their own ways. One dream was that we would be able to see the sunset over the water, because that's something we never do in the city, only during beach vacation. And one dream was that we would build something with a community around us, something welcoming for others to join in. One dream was that we would use only resources that were already available to us to build something in a sustainable way. One dream was that while being on the water, we would actually make it cleaner instead of polluting it more. One dream was that in our project, the realization of dreams was a core principle. And we had some silly dreams too. I, for example, came up with the dream that one day we would be shown on one of those TV screens in the Berlin metro. After this weekend, I was so excited I could not sleep. I was excited and worried. I was worried we would not make it. I was worried about logistics and bureaucracy, about money and about time. But in the end, we all did make it. But the group was clear about one thing. First we needed was a cool name for our cool project. And that was almost the end of the story, because we had some horrible ideas before we came up before you came up with the name Panther Ray, which is our version of the old Greek Panther Ray, and that means everything flows, everything is in constant change. And afterwards, everything was flowing. Next thing we needed was money. So we decided to launch a crowdfunding campaign to make people buy into our dream. That became live and viral. And within a couple of weeks, we convinced close to 250 people to give us more than 10,000 euros to build a boat. And in exchange, we promised them that they would be the first with us on board. So all of a sudden, that dream had become independent, and we had this huge crew waiting for us to be ready, watching us. And crowdfunding was a great tool, both to get the money, but also to make sure we weren't building for us or for nobody, but that we were building for a crowd of people. Next thing we needed was material. And as I said, we wanted to use used material. We wanted to recycle. So we said, let's try to go straight to the source of it. And we called all the Berlin recycling companies and asked them, hey, can we use your trash to build a boat? And you're actually not allowed to do that. It's quite difficult. You're not allowed to use trash once it's in the recycling system. But eventually, we had convinced one of them, and they gave us access to their sites. And this is how it looks like. So at this point, we were literally digging in Berlin trash for boat building treasures. We saw dream potential among that waste. We started seeing a swing where there was an old shopping tray, or we started seeing our future captain's seat where there was an old horse saddle. And we picked all of that material together, collected it, and started to plan the boat from what we had and found. Next thing we needed was people. We needed skills and time, people who helped us. So again, we said, let's spread the idea through media contacts and in our networks. And we were overwhelmed by how many people came. Dozens of people volunteered their time to help us build our dream. They had heard of us on the radio, and they came with tools and techniques and skills that we hadn't even heard of. They came because they had a similar idea or a similar dream, and they were just happy that that small group was crazy enough to start it. So this is how it looks if a bunch of amateurs builds a boat. We welcomed everybody who got to our building site, made our version of onboarding. So we got together during breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We paid for food and drinks, which helped. And we made sure everybody felt invited and welcome. So within a lengthy 6 weeks process, we got to build a boat. And today it's called Panther Ray. And that's the result. It's 9 by 4 meters wide. It fits, oh, thanks. It's 9 by 4 meters. It fits 25 people to be on board, and it can realize their ideas and dreams. Because we have solar panels for light and music. We have a community garden to plant plants. We have a compost toilet in the back for immediate needs. We have that swing made out of an old shopping tray. And in the front, we have a shovel that collects floating trash while we're on the water. So you actually can make it a bit cleaner. But what's most important, it can be anywhere in the city where there's water, because it has an engine to be transported. Within the first 2 seasons, we had more than 2,000 people on board who saw their city from a new perspective. They were able to enjoy an intimate discussion away from the crowd. They were able to watch the sunset over the water, or just have a barbecue and some drinks. But what we mostly use it for is public events, because we understand that it's a common platform, and we offer it to local artists, to musicians, poets, theater companies, and everybody who wants to perform. So that on a cold, sunny day or on a warm summer night, you might be sitting by the canal and there's a free concert floating by. But we also use it for political activism. We use it to speak out on the water, like we used to do on the streets, about issues that we care of. And we participate in regular cleanup activities to raise awareness for environmental pollution around us. If you have an idea, that's artistic, that's political, or that's just fun, and you want to bring it to the public, you can use this platform. You can come talk to us, and we can bring you on the water in Berlin. But that is not the only reason I'm sharing this story. Oh, wait. All of the dreams came true. Even the one of being shown in the TV screens in the metro eventually became reality out of a big coincidence. So as I said, if you have an idea, come talk to us. But that is not the only reason I'm telling the story. I think I learned at least 3 important lessons for my life from the Panther Ray project that can be applied to your people, your spaces, your dreams. The first lesson is about the freedom of space. I don't think I realized how much free space there was in Berlin until I looked at the water from a different perspective. Now I have a boat. I see a stage, I see room for performance. And when I walk by the riverbanks, I look out, where could an audience sit? Where could I host an event to hack that space and claim it? And there's other people in dense cities in the world who have used spaces in creative ways. They've turned rooftops into community gardens. They've turned parking lots into playgrounds. And they've turned parks into public wave event locations. Think of a space around you that might be free and start using it. Start making it yours. The second lesson I learned was about collective action. This project was 100% collective. I might be the only person standing here tonight holding the talk to you, and I might have been the first person to talk about her dream. But without a dedicated group of people to join in and make it as much their dream as it was mine, this would have stayed a dream, and it wouldn't have become reality. Sometimes we need to share our dreams, and sometimes we also need to get going. It's about collectiveness and about action. We need to start do things and stop being worried. Because if we hold to ourselves and are too worried and too concerned, our dreams will not come true. And the third and most important lesson I learned was a lesson about dreams. Because dreams are truly powerful. I don't think that any of the project management tools I use in my day job in my office at work would have ever been as powerful as sitting together in a dreamer's circle. Of course, at some point, we needed to-do lists and management and get things done mode. But it was fundamental to the project that in the very beginning, we had taken enough time to make sure we really, really wanted what we did. And that's the story of the Panther Ray that you see here, but it ends on a personal note. Because I don't need to live by the ocean anymore. I can be on the water here every day, and I can share it with a wonderful community around me. Thank you.